We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Tes Amud Aleph in Mesechet Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 109a. The Gemara is continuing the story of Nacham Ishgamzu. The Jewish people wanted to send a gift to the Caesar, and they said, "Man and Nishader, who should we send? Nishader bahadei Nacham Ishgamzu. Let's send Nacham Ishgamzu with the gift to the Caesar, the Melumad Benisimhu, because he's somebody who's accustomed to miracles." Kimata Lahud Ziyura, when he came to a certain inn, Baal Mevas, he wanted to sleep there overnight. Amri Lei, they said to him, "Mai Ika bahadach, what do you have with you?" Amar Lahu, he said to them, Kamovilna Kargal Kesar, I'm bringing a head tax to the Caesar. Kamu Belelia, they got up at night. Sharinu Lesifte Veshaklu, called the Havagabe. They went through his chest. They went through the box and found they took everything that was in it to Malinu Afran. Instead, they filled it up with dirt. Kimat Lahasam, when he reached there, when he got to the Caesar, Ishtakach Afra, they found the dirt. Amar, and he said, the Caesar said, Achuche Kamechaychi Bi Yehudai, the Jews are laughing at me that they're sending me dirt as a present. Afku Lemikdale, so they took him out to kill him, meaning they were going to kill Nacham Ish Gamzu. Amar, he said, Gamzu Latova, this also is for the good. Asa Elio v'idn milhu kachad minayu. Then Elio Navi came and he appeared to them like he was one of them, like he was one of the officers of the Caesar. Amar Lui said to them, Dil mahai afra me afra di Avram Avinu, who maybe this dirt is from the dirt of Avram Avinu. This dirt was mentioned on the previous Amud. To have a shadi afra have a charbi, that he would throw it, the dirt would turn into swords. Gili have a giri, the straw would turn into arrows. Bidog v'ashkachu hachi, and they examined it and they found this was exactly the case. There was a particular area, a province, that the Romans had not been able to conquer. They threw from this dirt upon there, and then they conquered it. And so they brought Nacham Ishgamzu, they brought him to the treasury. Amri, they said, Shkol denicholach, take whatever you want. Ma'alya l'sifta, he filled up his box, the hava, with gold. Ki hadar asa, and then when he came back to that inn, Amrulay, they said to him, Hanach diori, the people who were the residents of that area, they said to him, My amtis levei malka, what did you bring to the house of the king? Amar Lui said to them, My deshakli mehacha, amtoi lahasam, what I took from here, I brought to there. So shakli inu, so they also took some dirt, amtu lahasam, and they brought it there. Katalinu lahanach diori, and the dirt did not have those miraculous properties, the dirt that they brought, and so therefore they killed those residents, the officers of the Caesar, they killed those particular residents. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Dor hafloga ein lohem chelak liolam haba, the Dor hafloga, they do not have a portion in the world to come. And the Gemara says, My Ovid, what exactly did the Dor hafloga do? Their sin is not specifically delineated in the Chumash. And the Gemara says, Amri devei Rabbi Shila, they say in the yeshiva of Rabbi Shila, Nivne migdal, they said as follows, let us build a tower, v'na'ala l'rakia, we'll go up to the heavens, v'naka oso b'kardumos, and then we will strike it with axes, k'dei sheyazuvu meimav, in order that the water should flow. And the Gemara continues, Michu Allah b'ma'arav, in the west, they laughed at this explanation, because Imkain, if so, livnu achad betur, then they should have built it on a mountain. What are they doing building it in a valley? And so the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yirmi bar Elazar, Rabbi Yirmi bar Elazar says, Nechleku legimel kito, so they were actually divided among three different groups. Achas omeres na'alev v'neishev sham, there was one group that said, let's go up, and we're going to live over there, we'll settle over there. V'achas omeres na'alev v'na'avod avodas kochavim, one group said, let's go up and we'll serve avodah zarah. V'achas omeres, and one group said, Na'alev v'nasa milchama, we'll go up there and we'll wage war. And the Gemara continues, Zusho omeres na'alev v'neishev sham, the group that said we're going to go up and we'll settle there, hafitzam Hashem, so Hashem scattered them. V'zusho omeres na'alev v'nasa milchama, and the group that said we're going to go up and wage war, nasu kofim, they became apes, v'ruchos and spirits, v'shedim and demons, v'lilin and female demons. We'll see Rashi's explanation in a moment. V'zusho omeres na'alev v'na'avod avodas kochavim, and the group that said let's go up and serve avodah zarah, kisham bolal Hashem svas kol haaretz, it was there that Hashem confounded, he mixed up the languages of all of the earth. And Rashi explains, Sheidim yesh lehem tzuras adam, demons, they have the form of man, va'ochlin v'shosin kivnei adam, they eat and drink like people. Ruch and spirits is beli guf of etzura, they don't have a body or form. And lilin is tzuras adam, Rashi says that the lilin do have the form of man, ela sheyesh lehem kanafayim, but they have wings, but Meseches Nida, that's explained in Meseches Nida. And Rashi continues, Zusha Omra Navod Avodah Zarah Kisham Bola Hashem, the one that said, we'll serve Avodah Zarah, there Hashem confounded the language. Bilbel Lashonim, what it means is, he mixed up their languages, Kedei Shelo Yeh Echad Mechavin, L'das Chavero L'Avod Avodah Zarah, so one would not understand his friend in terms of the worshipping of the Avodah Zarah. And the Gemara continues, Tanya, we learned in a Brisa, Rabbi Nosson Omer, Rabbi Nosson says, Kulam l'shem avodas kochav niskavnu, all of them that were by the Migdal Bavel, they had in mind to serve Avodah Zarah. How do we know that? Ksiv hacha, it's written over here, Nasa lanu shem, by the Migdal Bavel, it says Nasa lanu shem. Uksiv hasam, and it's written over there, V'shem Elohim acherim lo saskiru, it uses the word V'shem over there, it's talking about idol worship. Malahalon avodas kochavim, just like over there, it's talking about Avodah Zarah. Afkan avodas kochavim, so too over here, it is talking about Avodah Zarah. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Migdal, when it came to the tower of Bavel, Shlish Nisraf, 1/3 of it was burned, that's the upper third. Shlish Nivla, 1/3 of it was absorbed into the ground, that was the lower third. And Shlish Kayim, in the middle third, that remains. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav says, Avir Migdal Mishkach, the atmosphere of the tower, it causes one to forget. If somebody is in the vicinity of the Migdal Bavel, that will cause forgetfulness. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Yosef says, Bavel Uborsif Bavel, and a location near Bavel, which is called Borsif, Simin Ra Torah, that is a bad omen for the Torah. Again, it causes forgetfulness. My Borsif, what is this name Borsif? Amar Ravasi says, Bor Shafi, what it means is an empty pit. And the idea is, again, it means forgetfulness. The person's mind is emptied of his learning. And Rashi explains, Mishkach shekein nigzar lo makam. This is a decree on that place, sheyishkach, that people will forget. That's why they themselves forgot their language. Bavel uborsif simin ra Torah. Bavel and Borsif is a bad omen for the Torah. Shemeshachin halimud. People forget their learning. Because those areas stand in the atmosphere, in the area of the tower. Lama nikra shema Borsif. Why is it called Borsif? Bor shafi, borshin is sorokin meimav. It means a bor, a pit that's empty from its water. Kilomar mishkach ha'adam kol ma'ashalom. It is as if to say a person's going to forget everything that he learned. Shafi kamo hashofes hayayin lashon horek mi kli al kli. The language of shofi is you empty from one vessel to the other. That's why it's an empty pit. Umivnei mashma bavel. And why is the name of the area Bavel? Shemeshakachas, it causes forgetfulness. Amar Rav Yosef says, Kisham bolal, because there again the languages are confounded. Lefisha bilbil hakadosh baruch hu es lashonam l'shem kachi mishkachas, because hakadosh baruch hu confuses the language. That's why these things are forgotten. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Anshe Sodom ein lohem chelek li'olam haba. The people of Sodom, they do not have a portion in the world to come. And the Gemara says, Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Anshe Sodom ein lohem chelek li'olam haba. The people of Sodom, they don't have a portion in the world to come. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, V'anshe Sodom roim v'chatoim laHashem me'od. It says the people of Sodom, they were wicked and they were sinners to Hashem very much. And we darshan the pasuk to mean roim ba'olam haza. They were wicked in this world, v'chatoim lo'olam haba, and they're sinners in the world to come. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Yehuda says, Ro'im begufan. When the pasuk says Ro'im, it means to say that they were wicked with their bodies, they sinned with their bodies. The Chatoim, and the word Chatoim in the pasuk, B'mamonim, that refers to sins that they committed with their money. And the Gemara brings sources for this. Ro'im begufan, they were wicked with their bodies. Dechsiv, as it's written in the pasuk, this is by Yosef and Potiphar's wife. Ve'eich esa hara hagadola hazos v'chatasi lelokim. How can I do this ra'ah, this wicked thing? It's talking about a sin with the body. And the Gemara continues, V'chatoim b'mamonim, and they were sinners with their money. T'chsiv, as it's written, V'haya b'chachet, it will be a sin, and that's in reference to a monetary sin. And the Gemara continues, LaHashem, when it says in the pasuk by Stom, it says LaHashem, again, V'anshe Sodom roim v'chatoim LaHashem miod. LaHashem zu birchas Hashem, that refers to the blessing, the name of Hashem. It really means, it's a euphemism, it means cursing Hashem. And ma'od, when it says at the end of the pasuk, again, Anshe Sodom roim v'chatoim LaHashem ma'od, very much. The word ma'od, shemiskavnim v'chotim, that they did the sins, they did it with intent. It was not something that was unintentional. And the Gemara continues, B'mas Nisaton, in the Brisa it was taught, roim b'mamonim, the opposite of what we said before. The word roim is not talking about sins with the body, but the word roim is talking about sins with money. The chatoim, and the word chatoim, which means sins begufan, that's talking about a sin with the body. And the Gemara continues and brings the sources. Roim b'mamonim, they were wicked with their money. Dechsiv, as it's written, v'ra incha be'achicha ha'evyon, that's talking about money. It uses the word v'ra. V'chatoim begufan, and then they were sinners with their body. Dechsiv, as it's written, this is the same pasuk that we brought before by Yosef, but at the end of the pasuk, it uses the word v'chatasi. T'chsiv, it's written v'chatasi le'elokim. It says I'm going to sin to God, and therefore you see that v'chatasi, the chatoim, is a reference to a sin with the body. And lahashem, and again when it says in the pasuk by Stom lahashem, zubir chas Hashem, again that refers to blessing the name of Hashem, a euphemism. It really means cursing Hashem. And miod, when it says at the end of the pasuk miod, very much, zu shvichas damim. The Bryce interprets that to mean shvichas damim, spilling of blood, murder. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, gam dam noki shafach Menashe harbe miod. It says he also spilled, Menashe spilled a lot of innocent blood, uses the word ma'od in that pasuk. And the Gemara continues, Tana Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Anshe Sodom lo nisgo, ela b'shvil tova sheishbil lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The people of Sodom, they only became arrogant because of all of the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them. Umach siv bohem, what is written about them? This is a pasuk in Sefer Eov. This pasuk is talking about the place of Sodom. It says a lot of good things. There was a lot of tova. There was a lot of great things, material things in Sodom. It says Eretz mimena yatzalochem v'tachteh nepach k'moesh. It says there was bread that came out of the land, and the underneath was turned over like fire. Mekom Safir Avonea. It was a place of sapphire. V'afro zavlo. It had gold. Nesivlo yadu ayit v'lo shazafto ayin aya. There was no birds of prey. There was no falcons that were attacking. Lo hidrichu b'nei shachatz. Lo ada olav shachal. There were no beasts that were attacking. There were no lions. Sodom was a place of great material wealth. Amru, so they said, the people of Sodom said, if we're living in a land which produces this bread and this gold, what do we need people to pass by? We don't need visitors. They're just coming in order to take away our money. We don't want these visitors. Let's come and let's forget about the idea of people passing by from our land. We won't have any more guests. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk also in Sefer Eov, Paratz Nachal Me'imgar, he opens up, he breaks out a stream from without, inhabitants, Haneshkachim Mine Regel, there's nobody that walks by, there are no passersby. Dalu Me'anosh, no, it's a place again where there are no people. And the Gemara continues, Dorash Rava Darshans Ma'idich Siv. What does it mean when it's written in the pasuk in Tehillim? Adonato Seiso al Ish Teratzcheu Kulchem Kekir Notoi Geder Hadechuya. How long will you seek to overwhelm a man? You'll be murdered, all like a leaning wall, like a fence that's tottering over. Melamed, this pasuk teaches, Shahayunosnen Eineyen Bebali Mammon. The people of Sodom, they placed their eyes, they set their eyes upon people with money. They wanted to get those people's money. Umoshivano so Eitzel Kirnotoi, they would take that person and they would put him by a wall that was leaning over. Vidochano so Olav, and then they would push the wall upon him. Uvoim Vinotlan Esmamono, and then they would come and take his money. That is the meaning of the pasuk. And the Gemara continues, Darash Rava Darshan Ma'idich Siv. What does it mean when it's written in the pasuk? This is in Sefer Eov. Chasar b'choshech bottom, at night they dig through houses. Yomam chasmo lamo lo yadu or, and in the daytime they're sealed up in their house. They don't know light. Melamed, this teaches shayunosne meinehem bebale mammon. Again, the people of Sodom, they set their eyes upon those who had money. Umafgidim etzlo afarsimon. They would give someone who had money, they would give him some afarsimon, some balsam, which has a scent. Umanichem also beveiskin zem, and then the people who receive the afarsimon, they would put it by their treasury, they would put it where they have all of their precious things, lo erev, and then in the evening, boim umarichano so kakelev, the people of Sodom would come and they would smell the area like a dog to try to find the person's money. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, yashuvu la erev yemu kakelev, they come at night, they howl like a dog, visovavu ir, they surround the city, uboim v'chosrim sham, and the Gemara says they would come and they would dig there, v'not lenoso mammon, and they would take that money. And we will note that this pasuk of Yashuvu la'erev comes from Tehillim. And Rashi explains in terms of the psukim from Eov, Eretz mimena yatzalachem, Sodom was a place where bread came, Eretz veya v'tovi, means to say it was a place of good, it was plentiful, v'tachten nepach k'moesh, and then the pasuk said that below it was turned over like fire. Rashi says, v'achar kei nefcha, that's a reference to the fact that later on, Sodom would be overturned. V'chimeachar she'eretz mimena yatzalachem, and so the people of Sodom said, if this is a place which bread comes out, she'yesh lanu, shipu alechem, we have so much bread in abundance, lam v'lanu over derachim, what do we need people to pass by? V'nishkach shelo yavru over derachim be'artzenu, let's have that be forgotten, there shouldn't be anyone passing through our land. And then the Gemara brought the pasuk of Paratz HaKadosh Baruch Hu nachal gofres v'oesh, means to say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he opened up a stream of fire. Me'im gar, it means from people living there, meaning, the way Rashi interprets, mimakom halichaso shayaholech lamala, means from the place which it went, that it was going above, v'hishlichu aleim, and it was thrown upon them, meaning this punishment was thrown upon Sodom. Sodom, hanishkachem mine regel. Then the pasuk goes on to say that there's no regel, there's no one visiting, no one passing by in this area. It's a place again where you have nobody visiting, and that's why this place was destroyed. And Rashi continues, Gar, the way Rashi interprets the pasuk, Korant belaz, seems to be like a stream or flowing, kamo mayim hanigorim. Again, this flowed upon them. Tahosasu tevakshu tarmios v'toanos. The pasuk over there means that you seek a pretext, and teratzchu kulchem, to murder, al yedei kir natoi, that they murdered through this leaning wall, v'geder hadzechuya, and through the tottering fence. And Rashi continues, Yomam chasmu lamo, again they seal themselves at night, hayom, in the daytime, sosman v'sogrim, they're closed off, ki'ilu lo yaduor, as if they don't know light, kilomar sosman v'chosman, again that's what it means, sosman v'chosman, they close off. And finally, Rashi says, Afar Simon, they would give balsam shalahem lafkido biad balimam, they would give it over to those who had money, kadeshiu manichin pikadon shalem bebeis kinzeim, then they would put that deposit in the area where they kept the rest of their treasures, uvalayla marichin Afar Simon, so at night they would smell that Afar Simon v'chosrin sham, and they would dig over there. And the Gemara continues and quotes several other psukim from Sefer Eov in reference to the people of Sdom, Orim holchum ibli levush, going without clothing, vein ksus bakara, and no clothing for the cold, chamur yisomim yanahegu, they would take the donkey of the orphans, yechavlu shur almana, they would take the axe of the widow as a pledge, gavulos yasigo, they would break over boundary lines, eider gozlav ayiru, and they would steal flocks, v'hu lekvoros yovel, v'al godish yishkod, for he is brought to the grave, and watch is kept over his tomb. And the Gemara continues, Darash Rabbi Yossi b'tzipore. Rabbi Yossi, he darshan the behavior of Sdom. In Tzipore, he taught about what they would do to steal things. And when people heard that, Ichterin ahilelia, it's like they got an idea of how they could steal. And so that night, it was dug, Tlos mea machtarta b'tzipore. There were 300 tunnels that were dug in Tzipore in order for people to steal. They got this idea from Rabbi Yossi. Also v'kametzarile, so people from the city, they came and they were bothering Rabbi Yossi. Amrule, they said to him, Yohavis urche laganve, you just gave a path for those who steal, you just taught them how they can steal. Amar Lahu, he said to them, Mihavi Adana da'asu ganve, did I know that it was going to cause that these people would steal, that they were thieves over here? And the Gemara continues, Kinoch nafshi de Rabbi Yossi, when Rabbi Yossi died, Shafi marzve de Tzipore dema, the gutters of Tzipore, they flowed with blood. And Rashi explains, Darash Rabbi Yossi be midrasha chatar b'choshech batem. Rabbi Yossi darshan in the Beis Medrash this pasuk of chatar b'choshech, how they dug tunnels in the dark to steal. Ichteru talos mea machtarta, and so there was dug in that area 300 tunnels. Al yedei reach afar simon, they used the smell of the afar simon. Sheyim marichin v'yoden hechen manichin mamonam. They smelled and they determined where the money was. Mihavi adana dasu ganvi, did I know that thieves would come? Lishnachrina, Rashi has another version. Mihavi adani de ganvi atun, did I know that you were thieves? And Rashi continues, Shafi Marzave de Tzipore Dama, when Rabbi Yossi died, the gutters of Tzipore, they flowed with blood. The Adam Gadol, the point over here was he was a great person. V'aydi Damar Le'el, and since it said earlier, Ichteru Machtarte, since it said that they dug the tunnels b'Tzipore, in Tzipore, the Asra de Rabbi Yossi, that was the place of Rabbi Yossi, Hasam Havenak Nami Hamilsa, so since that was the place of Rabbi Yossi, we also have this, we also bring this idea, the Chinach Nafshe, that when he died, it flowed with blood, the gutters of Tzipore. Again, Lashmin and Tzipore have it to teach that he was from Tzipore. And the Gemara continues, Amri, they say, and the following is some laws from Sodom, the Islay Chad Torah Mari Chad Yoma, somebody who has one ox has to graze the animals of the city for 1 day. The Lesle, if somebody doesn't have any oxen, Lire Trey Yoma, then he has to graze the animals of the city for 2 days. And the Gemara continues with a story, how Yasma Bar Malasa, there was an orphan, the son of a widow, Havule, Torah Lemire, and he didn't have any oxen, and they gave him some oxen to graze. Azal Shaklinu Vakatlinu, so he went, and he took them and he killed them. Amar Lahu, and then he said to them, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Tes Amid Beis.